Dear Heavenly Father, we are grateful to you for your mercy and your goodness. We thank you for your love over Uganda and bring us to this point when we decide on leaders whom you are giving us. We thank you that since morning, people have been making their choices. And now, as tallying and sending results comes on, we still pray that your hand will hold our nation together and let your peace continue to reign. We thank you for the commission and the work that they have done and that is still ongoing. We pray that your hand will uphold us and give them strength to finish strong and for our nation to finish strong. We thank you. In Jesus' name we pray. Amen.
Thank you very much, Commission. You may take your seats, and everybody please take your seats. Good evening, ladies and gentlemen who are watching, who are here in this very grounds, on these very grounds, and those that are watching us from across the country and across the world. My name is Julius Muchunguzi. I'm the head of public relations and spokesperson of the Electoral Commission. And I would like to take this pleasure of welcoming you to the Electoral Commission grounds here in Rubowa, in Rweza, in Makinde Sabagabo, which is the venue for the National Tally Center for the presidential elections of 2026. Lord Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Justice Byabakama Mugenyi Simon, the Deputy Chairperson of the Commission, Hajat Aisha Rubega, Commissioners, Acting Secretary, heads of missions that are observing these elections, the media, all invited guests, ladies and gentlemen. We welcome you to this, the opening of the National Tally Center for the 2026 general election. Presidential elections, and without much ado, I will take this honor of inviting and handing over to the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, Justice Byabakama Mugenyi Simon, to constitute us here, welcome us here, and deliver his message. You're welcome, Lord Chair.
Thank you. The Deputy Chairperson of the Electoral Commission, members of the Commission, Your Excellencies, ambassadors and heads of missions, the heads of observer missions, international and local, and all observers, representatives of the presidential candidates, political parties, civil society groups, interreligious faith leaders, and all of you distinguished ladies and gentlemen. Good evening. As you are aware, today, Thursday, the 15th of January 2026, was polling day for the presidential and parliamentary elections in our country. The Commission would like to congratulate all Ugandans upon the successful conduct of the polling activities and all the other activities previously in general. The polling materials were this morning distributed to all the 739 polling stations to enable polling to start on time across the country. However, the Commission received reports shortly after of failure of some biometric voter verification kits, or BVVK, that were deployed to support or facilitate the verification and identification of voters at all the said polling stations. Accordingly, the Commission took the decision and they guided all returning officers that where a BVVK fails to start, the voting process should commence immediately using the National Voters Register in accordance with the electoral laws and guidelines so as not to disenfranchise any voter. This decision was informed by the fact that the failure of the BVVK in some polling stations was not, in our view, sufficient ground to subvert or step.
Protea Hotels by Marriott is where hospitality feels like home. It's why when your family is with us,
that power is sacred and supreme, whereas it was our great desire and expectation that the said kits work wherever they were deployed. The fact of their failure did not water down the unquestionable right of the people of Uganda to exercise their constitutional power under Article 1 of the Constitution to choose leaders of their choice in a free and fair election, provided the exercise of doing so was conducted in line with the existing legal framework. So it is in that vein, therefore, the Commission found it prudent and most appropriate to guide and direct that the elections take place, provided the voters are sufficiently identified using the polling registers that were availed at every polling station, which polling registers are derived from the National Voters Register, and which data is uploaded or was uploaded and fed onto the biometric voter verification kits. So in light of that fundamental record, which is recognized both in the Constitution and the other acts of Parliament, it was deemed therefore crucial and vitally important that polling or voting proceeds so as to give the people of Uganda their deserved right to elect leaders of their choice. And so it was done. That's why we are here. Nevertheless, the Commission's technical teams were tasked to address the reported technical challenges wherever possible, and stakeholders were being updated accordingly. Furthermore, in recognition of the fact that polling started late or a bit late, rather than the expected time or the scheduled time of 7 a.m., in some areas they started at 10 a.m., 11 a.m. The Commission, therefore, in exercise of its powers, special powers, under Section 49 of the Electoral Commission Act, decided to extend the polling hours, which were earlier scheduled to end or to be concluded at 4 p.m. by 1 hour to 5 p.m. at all polling stations across the country. So the polling stations were accordingly allowed to operate until 5 p.m. or slightly beyond, depending on whether there were a number of voters still in the queue or in the line at a polling station. This extension was granted in order to allow or enable all eligible voters who were unable to vote earlier or who had come to the polling stations earlier but left due to the delayed, to the malfunctioning of the kits, to be able to come back or to vote, so that none of them is denied the opportunity to exercise his or her right. The Commission wishes to commend the people of Uganda that despite those challenges, they remained calm, they remained tolerant, patient, until the time we said polling can proceed on the basis of the hard copy National Voters Register. I thank you, the people of Uganda, because we do not get any report of any agitated people or voters becoming either violent or anything of that matter. The Commission notes the exercise there has therefore been generally peaceful across the country. We once again salute the people of Uganda for having turned up in high numbers to elect their leaders and for conducting themselves in a peaceful manner and for bearing with us as the Commission. And now, as we talk now, the counting of votes in many places has been concluded, and the declaration of results, or the tallying, the declaration of results, as the declaration of results gets underway, the Commission wishes to call on all candidates, their agents, and supporters to keep calm and be tolerant. The procedures for the declaration of the 2026 presidential and parliamentary election results will be as follows. After the counting of ballot papers cast at the polling stations, the results at each station will be filled or have been filled in the declaration of results forms, and the outcome at that polling station announced by the presiding officer as required by the law. First, beginning with the presidential results at that polling station, followed by the directly elected member of parliament results, and finally the district or city woman member of parliament results. From the polling stations, the results and all other contents that were used at that polling station were delivered to the sub-county headquarters, which is the central collection point for all polling stations in that particular sub-county. Then from there, they would be conveyed to the district tally center, headed by the returning officer. We want to note, you to note, and we wish to emphasize that the envelopes containing the results of the various categories of elections can only be opened at the district tally center, but not at the sub-county center. The sub-county center, I repeat, is merely a collection point where the materials in that sub-county which were deployed or dispatched every polling station would be gathered for onward transmission to the district tally center. At the district or city tally center, the results will be delivered to the office of the district or city returning officer, who will tally and declare the results with directly elected member of parliament or for constituencies in that district or city, and the results for the woman member of parliament for that district or city. As for the presidential elections results, these will be and are being transmitted to the National Tally Center, here where we are now at Luoa, Wakiso district. We want you to note that the constituency for presidential candidates is the entire country. Accordingly, the Electoral Commission will tally all results from the districts or cities of Uganda at this center, and finally declare the elected candidate for president within 48 hours from closure of polls. Once again, this is the venue that was gazetted in accordance with the law for purposes of hosting the National Tally Center for the presidential elections. The tallying of results will start as soon as they become available from today, Thursday, 15th January 2026, and conclude on 17th January 2026 before 5 p.m. In order to ensure transparency in the tallying process, access to the Tally Center has been granted to duly accredited media personnel, national and international observers, agents of political parties, agents of candidates, and other invited guests. The Commission also wishes to inform the nation that the Electoral Commission has suspended voting for the directly elected Member of Parliament for Uganda North County constituency in Kiryandongo district and Uganda municipality in Uganda district due to a mismatch in the particulars of the candidates on the ballot papers in those constituencies. The Commission will announce a new polling date for the elections in those areas. The respective candidates, the voters and supporters, and the general public are hereby requested to be calm or to remain calm. In appreciation, the 2026 general elections represent another significant milestone in our democratic journey. We wish to extend our appreciation to all stakeholders in the electoral process, including the electorate, the government of Uganda, which has fully funded this electoral process, political parties, civil society organizations, the media, development partners, security agencies, observers, religious and cultural leaders, the media in particular, for their invaluable support and contribution to these activities. Once again, the Commission would like to congratulate all Ugandans upon the successful conduct of these elections, and more so for the exemplary conduct you have exhibited despite the challenges that were encountered earlier on in the day. We urge you to do the same in the upcoming elections for local government. We want to appeal to all the candidates, their supporters and agents, and the general public to maintain peace and public order during the counting, the tallying, and declaration processes, and beyond the election period. Remember, Uganda shall and will always be, even after the elections. With these few words, now I wish to declare that this Tally Center is officially opened for purposes of tallying the presidential results. I say this for God and my country. Thank you very much. Now we shall reconvene here at 10:30 p.m. when we expect to update the country on the results that have streamed in or that we have received so far, and we shall be doing this at regular intervals at the periods or the times to be announced in due course. For now, see you 10:30 p.m. Thank you so much. I don't have a pen. do I have to say it or not? You may, as we talk now.
Presidential Tally Center, where they will be adding up all the results as and when they will be coming in from the different parts of the country. Of course, he did mention about parts of the districts where they did actually cancel the entire voting exercise in areas of Chiriandongo and areas of Uganda, and he did say they will be communicating a later date on when Ugandans within that region will be casting their vote within that particular area. He did say there was some mismatch of the candidates, that is directly women member of parliaments in that region, that is Uganda, and in areas of Kiriandongo, but we wait to see on the date that will be actually decided on when Ugandans will be getting back to the polls in that area. He did give in some highlights on how they got the information about the VVK machines, how they had gotten a few issues and errors here and there. Why did they fail to start to work out in the first place? But it said that didn't stop the voting exercise to continue, because they did have to use that national voter register to continue with the polling. So the machines wasn't an issue. Ugandans shouldn't really be on that much to stop them from voting. So that was very important. He did tell us that he will be back here at 10:30 p.m. to give us more updates, and he did say that it will be at that time that we shall be understanding as and when the information will be coming in from the different parts of the country, these having been declared the national tally center for the presidential election this time round. Remember the battle being in there from different candidates. 8 candidates have been in the race, but not forgetting that even women member of parliament directly elected MPs, they were also voted today. So Ugandans have to be glued to UBC TV. Ugandans have to be glued to Star TV, because we shall be coming to you live at all time, at every particular time, because we have to keep you up to speed as and when information will be coming in. Our duty and the mandate is to serve you, the wananchi, who is watching from the different parts of the country. At a later time, if I do get the opportunity, I'll be talking to the spokesperson of Uganda Police, that is Rusoke Chituma. Probably he will be giving us what he thinks on how things have transpired within the country. That is in the line with security, because later in the morning the observation was people expected a low voter turn up. People were timid at one point, but the police force, even the electoral commission, was saying Ugandans shouldn't fear the security. The security is there to protect them. They have a mandate of protecting Ugandans and their property. But if you do expect to bring any chaos somehow, somewhere, then they will not give a room for that. So for those who have been here, you just have to keep glued to UBC TV. Nengo Mulungi, Alaba Star TV. Njagala nawe nkumenyeremenyeremuko katono nti omulamuzi Simon byebakama n'akakiiko batubulidde ensonga nga bwe zitambudde wano olunaku olwaleero, batugenda bajja kudda ku ssaawa 4:30 ez'ekiro okutubuulira enteekateeka yonna nga bwegenda okuba nga etambula, n'okutubuulira musonyi mu katono, n'okutubuulira biki bye bagenda okuba nga batubira ku ssaawa 4:30 okusinziira ku ebyo ebinaaba bikuŋŋaanyiziddwako mu mbeera yonna. So kyolina okukola kubeera ku UBC TV ne Star TV for gwaffe tugenda kusula wano tusigale nga tukuweereza mu mbeera yonna paka ku makya ku nsonga zonna zosanye okubanga otegeera. Right now I want to hand over to Timothy Nyangweso. He will be also giving us his feel on what he has gathered in this very particular place. Over to you, Timothy.
Welcome to the National Tally Center here in Lubowa, and the Electoral Commission Chairperson has just spoken to us. The Lord Justice Byabakama Simon Mugenyi has just spoken to us, giving us a brief of what the day has looked like. But the biggest hiccup today, as Jethro was saying, is the biometrics that set us up completely, because that was a game changer, especially for the Electoral Commission today. It was one of those things they were depending on. He also clarified that the biodata had been uploaded on the biometrics, but the hiccup was something that they were working on, but didn't inform us if it is something they had resolved moving forward. He also extended the polling time today from 4 p.m. to 5 p.m. and also informed us especially that generally the polling went well in most of the areas. He mentioned 2 areas there that really the elections was suspended, a constituency in Chiriandongo, but also mentioned a constituency in Ibanda, and went on to tell us exactly that these 2 were suspended because the particulars on the ballot papers were changed. So it is something that they will defer to later on in the election process or the polling days, to be able to give them another polling day. Those were the 2 hiccups he mentioned there. He went on also to mention that he has declared this area the National Tallying Center officially, and the first ballots will be coming in at 10:30. He also went ahead to clarify that the polling stations would gather the votes, be able to count them, but also seal them and pass them on to the sub-county. The sub-county is a collection area. It is not one where the counting goes on, but all the polling stations send to their particular sub-county, and it's a collection area which later on sends it to the district. The district is able to give the results of the presidency, go on to give the direct MP, and the woman MP moving forward. Those are the areas he was talking about, particularly to make it clear for us to understand what the process looks like. He also was specific to say that the constituency of the presidential candidates is the whole country, and it is clear for us to be able to know that the president will be elected by the whole country, and the chief returning officer is the Electoral Commission chairperson himself, to be able to give us clarity in that area. And those are some of the things that we have enjoyed ourselves to be able to have here, and to give you an experience of when the first results will be coming in, for us to give you a few things there. We also expect, and I am grateful to be able to see a friend of mine, the spokesperson of Uganda Prisons, Mr. Frank Baine. It's good to have you.
Glad to be here.
Happy New Year.
Happy New Year to you.
How has it gone today?
Today was a wonderful day. Of course, the machines, those are technical issues. Yes. But fortunately, at least I have not had where people have not voted. And we have not had, at least where we have deployed, especially some of my boys, have not had any challenge. Because before I came here, I had a report. Everything had started well, though late, but ended well.
But as the prison services, what was your role in this particular area, and how did you support?
You see, under the National Security Council, the service chiefs, the army, the police, and the prisons, they work as a team. And that's why we have the Joint Operations Command at the district. We have the District Security Committee. So we have those clusters from the top to down. Now, when necessary, normally we are invited to join our sister forces. Like these elections, it is the police which is the lead agency. But in the if you check the 212, Article 212, I think Section D, they say it is allowed for the Inspector General to co-opt other members of the sister forces and the public. So because of the numbers and the work involved, we don't have enough police to man the entire country. So a number of times, like this time round, we had over 1,000 people who are working as police constables, but under the command of police.
Okay.
Then we had another about 3,000 who are part of the crowd control through joint patrols, and they have done their job, but still they are under police.
Your overview, security-wise, especially for this polling, today's polling day, especially with a few hiccups with the biometrics, what is your overview of how we performed as a country?
No, it was wonderful. Fortunately, I won't even start by thanking the public. Yes, the people realized there was a problem, but we didn't have skirmishes of being rowdy, starting to destroy. I have not heard anywhere where any electoral material has been destroyed. At least, yes, it affected all. The beauty is that lateness affected everybody. You can't say it biased people against this and this. It affected all. When they started using the register, fortunately the registers were perfect. People voted. Actually, when I was making around Kampala at around 2:33, most of the places had run vacant. Yet by midday they were stuffed. Yes. So and everywhere was peace and quiet. Even right now, because I've just come from town, people are doing their things. And it was so good that the people listened. It wasn't necessary to crowd on the voting area. And therefore we didn't have any clashes. Because normally what happens is the rival supporters clashing. We have not had an incident where somebody picks a box and runs with it. No, we have not had that. And you see, sometimes while it becomes a blessing in disguise, sometimes people come so early. By the people they are assembling, these are running with voting materials. But now by the time the materials were arriving and the decision to start began, everybody was there.
Okay.
So it was very hard, even for those who had intentions, wanting to do mischief, to do the mischief.
Thank you very much, Frank Baine. It's always a pleasure seeing you. Nice to meet you again. So that is the brief there, and I would like to hand you over to Jethro, who will give you a brief. I'll hand you over to Jordan, who will give you a brief of the overview of today. But also our expectations come 10:30 p.m. and onwards. He will be briefing us on what exactly will be happening here at the National Tally Center. Jordan, over to you.
Going down here at the National Tally Center, we have had an update by the Electoral Commission with the chairman, Justice Simon Byabakama, and they have given an overview. Now, we have heard of some pockets of violence and some cases like that. We have the spokesperson of police, Afande Kituma Rusoke. We don't want to take too much of his time. We just want an highlight of that and how they have managed to handle as police and probably the whole day. Afande, good evening.
Good evening, sir.
Live on UBC TV, we have heard of some pockets of violence. Just tell us briefly what it was like, in which places, if possible, and we'll look at how you have handled that security.
Okay. Before I talk about the pockets of violence, I hope you have also heard that to a large extent, very many areas were peaceful.
That's why I said pockets.
Exactly. So, like any election, such pockets, of course, would not be missed out. But we managed them. Like we said, our level of visibility today, also our capabilities were in place, just to ensure that where we had pockets, like here in Matuga, there were some few excited youths. In Katoke, here just near Nansana, there were some few excited youths. Here in Katwe, just like around 3 areas, we managed them. There were even other areas where it was purely engagement. But on a whole, let's not miss out that essentially people were really tolerant to each other and respectful of the process, which exactly we were requesting for, and that as long as we have that kind of environment, nothing else would cause issues.
How have you handled these cases? Have you arrested people? What has it been like? And are you going for some other people to arrest in order in the line of this investigation?
There were some few people who crossed the line. There were those who tried to ferry group. Those ones we arrested like around 400. Okay, the total number of persons who were arrested today are in a range of 400.
In the whole country?
Yeah, in the whole country. Which by any average, remember this is an election, which the estimated participation was supposed to be for 21 million. Whatever the number that has participated. But if we have got 400 people and picked them out of that society, you can give this election really a tick on the account of having gone relatively peaceful.
With the heavy deployment that we saw, were you having very high expectations of a stretch in your effort, and could we call it a relief if it has ended peacefully?
What we would say, of course, for us, we did not subject anything to speculation, whether it would be high or low. What we simply did was to do what the law expects of us, and we decided to give it all our weight.
We are going till the 17th. The National Tally Center has not even started yet receiving.
Exactly.
How are you manning? Because every announcement may spark something in the community. How are you still manning the whole situation?
First and foremost, what we would like to tell people, we have so far moved one step. Today, the 15th, people have cast their vote. We are now going to the counting. Of course, the tally centers have their protocols. We want people to respect the tally center protocols as the results come towards the national tally center for the presidential candidates. But most importantly, let them observe the laws even after the elections.
Thank you so much.
During and after the elections.
Thank you so much, sir.
But what also they should not forget, today was just one of the voting dates. Yeah. So let people not forget that there are still more other dates in which they will have to be voting. And in all those other days, let them do exactly like they did today, where they were observing the law and other protocols that were required.
We thank you so much, sir.
You're welcome, sir.
We'll get some other time to talk to you. That is Afande Kituma Rusoke, the spokesperson of the Uganda Police Force. Yes, he admits there have been some cases in some pockets, and they have managed to arrest some people. According to him, they have arrested 400 people in the whole country, and to him that is a small number in an election where they expected 21 people to participate. Atulaba ku Star TV tubadde twogera n'omwogezi wa poliisi mu ggwanga nga tugezako okufuna official information ku nsonga zetutegeddeko nti wabaddewo embeera ey'obujagalalo mu bitundu ebimu, n'akakasa nti kituufu waliwo ebitundu ebibaddemu obujagalalo ng'ematugga, agambye Katwe ne mu paati z'Erubaga n'awalala. Atugambye nti basobodde okuzikkakkanya nti naye okutwaliza awamu okulonda kubadde kwa mirembe, kubanga ebitundu ebibaddemu embeera bwetyo bibadde bitono era yeebaza abantu. So atugambye bakutta abantu nga poliisi abawerera ddala 4, naye mu ndaba yagamba nti abo abantu batono nnyo ku kalulu ak'eggwanga lyonna. So asaba abantu bongere okukuma emirembe kubanga okulonda kukyagenda mu maaso. Electoral Commission yakatandika okufuna ebiva eyo gye tulondedde, yakatandika okutendatawenda kutandika kulangirira. Kitegeeza ne kuno okwa president ne parliament kukyagenda mu maaso, ate tulinayo LC5 councillors, municipality n'ebyo byonna. So bwetyo bwe tuyimiridde. We thank you so much for watching. We'll get back to you with the other updates. Keep it UBC TV. Back to you at Broadcast House.
Well, thank you very much there, Jordan. And of course, it wasn't just Jordan giving us an update there. We witnessed Timothy Nangweso and also Jethro Kasaiji. They are giving us a total update. And of course, the last note was more on security highlights and how enforcement has happened. Yes, and now in our next story, National Peasant Party presidential candidate Robert Kasibante also cast his vote in Mitiana, and these are some of the moments as he carried out his mandate.
All right, those were the updates for that presidential candidate. And in other news, the Makerere University Chancellor and veteran politician Dr. Crispus Kiyonga in an early lead with preliminary results indicating that he is leading most sub-counties. Dr. Kiyonga, who has been contesting against incumbent MP for Bukonzo West legislator Honorable Atkins Katusabe of the FDC and Tuhakaba Mohindo of the National Unity Platform. At College Polling Station, where Dr. Crispus Kiyonga votes from, he garnered 340 votes and Atkins Katusabe garnered 75 votes. At Kyoga Church of Uganda Polling Station, where Godfrey Atkins Katusabe votes from, Kiyonga got 71 votes and Katusabe got 165 votes. At Lower Customs A to K Polling Station, Katusabe and Kiyonga all got 120 votes. And Tuhakaba of NUP received 12 votes. On the screen are some of the highlights from the polling stations.
There was this difficulty with the machines, and I'm glad that very quickly the National Electoral Commission adjusted and allowed the voting to go the usual way we do, rather than using the machines which appear to have got stuck. In this constituency, we have 8 sub-counties. I have got in touch with all our leaders in the 8 sub-counties, and they informed me that in every station, voting started and it's going on smoothly.
We're hoping today by 8 p.m. the Electoral Commission is going to announce Dr. Crispus Kiyonga as the MP Bukonjo West. We are too happy, people are very happy, people excited. Museveni oye, Kiyonga oye, long live Uganda and NRM.
We hope that if Kiyonga goes to Parliament, we shall be like the time back when he was in Parliament, because by then the community, the local community people were receiving services from government, and at least now, starting from the day when he was out of the Parliament, people have suffered. For example, people doesn't have clean water as of now. There are some areas which doesn't have even electricity. Bridges, when the bridges are already broke, nobody can even consult. No.
Now, to do with army votes, unlike areas such as Wandegeya, Makerere and Malago, where voting started late, in Makindye, around the barracks area, both security personnel and ordinary citizens who voted from there ignored the delays and carried out the voting process on schedule.
This is Bantu Machabe Semambo reporting live from Kampala, Uganda, where citizens have turned out in large numbers to exercise their democratic right. While the day has seen minor technical challenges, election officials are ensuring that the voting process continues smoothly. In Wandegeya, Makerere and Kasubi, some biometric voting machines temporarily failed, causing brief delays, but the response was swift at Makerere, where the district police commander instructed polling assistants to proceed using manual voting, allowing voters to continue casting their ballots without major disruption. Meanwhile, in Makindye 1, Lusaka, a polling station shared by both military personnel and civilians, faced a similar challenge. Once the machines failed, officials quickly switched to manual voting, ensuring early voters were not delayed and the electoral process moved forward efficiently. Despite the minor setbacks, voter enthusiasm remains high. Election officials are demonstrating preparedness and adaptability, ensuring that all eligible citizens have the opportunity to participate in the demonstration process. I'm Bantu Machabe Semambo, reporting live for UBC.
Well, thank you very much, Bantu Machabe Semambo, for those updates. We really do thank you for that. Now, in Chira municipality, voters stand up in significant numbers to elect the next president and members of parliament. Security personnel were deployed to maintain peace, and electoral officials remained on site to ensure the smooth voting process. Let's take a look.
kubadde kulungi nnyo kusinziira kulonda okubadde kubeerawo kwonna okulonda okuze kubeerawo kwonna kubaddemu tiyagaasi kubaddemu okusikangana ebitonji kubaddemu okulwanagana naye okwaleero kubadde kwa mazima kubadde kwa bwenkanya tekubaddemu kulwanagana tekubaddemu okusikama so n'olwekyo tewayinzika kubeerawo waliwo kompuleyini yonna okusinziira ekibaddewo buli muntu yenna kyabadde
Over to Kitezi, a polling station there at All Saints Church polling station in Wakiso district. Residents turned up in big numbers to cast their vote. However, voting was delayed due to challenges attached to the failure of the BVVK or biometric voter verification kits to operate. Let's hear more in this story.
All Saints Church here in Kitezi, Wakiso district, Kedondo East constituency, voters standing up in large numbers. By 7 a.m. voters were already here, ready and willing to cast their votes. However, there's been a delay in the operation of the BVK, that is the biometric voter verification kit, that has made this entire process delayed.
It's now coming to 10 a.m. The machines are not working. People are lining up in thousands. This is a polling station where more than 10,000 people vote from. I'm also a voter here and a candidate. I cannot vote because the polling station is not open. Machines are not working. We have been lining up since 6. We have had one open box in Rusanja. An open box has also been sighted here. And in Kabubu, there is no voting totally in Chadodo East constituency, or probably in other areas. And we are demanding from the Abakama, what do you want us to do? We are supposed to vote today from 7 to 4 p.m. But the polling stations are not open, machines are not working.
People had the vigor to come out and vote. By 6:30, people were already at the venue here. However, we got issues that overlaid us with the machines, and most people, by the time of 9:30, those who had come without breakfast had already given up, the elderly. So we had to take time to go into their places and invite them back.
Us to vote. If the machines are not working, let them tell us the alternative, because we are here to vote. This is what we are demanding for.
Eruddewo okutandika ate ng'abanaku abalala oyinza okuwulira nga bo batandise dda twakedde 12 twadde tuliwa ebintu ne bitandika leeti.
By 11 a.m. the voting exercise has started. However, he's opted for the use of the voters register due to the failure of the biometric voter verification kits to be operational.
So it has kicked off, and so far, as I talk now, the situation is under control and everybody is anxious to come out and vote for their candidate.
Bwatekebwako kulonda sibukozeseza lwa nsonga netiwaka yagaanyi. Naye nze ku ndowooza yange kirabika kiva ku netiwaka. Kubanga ebyo babina bikozesa netiwaka. Kati netiwaka bwe baba baziggyeeko kitegeeza sisitemu yonna eno.
I'm aware that by 4 p.m. everybody must have voted. So we just pray that people are able to withstand the sunshine and vote. A honest result. Yes.
Failure by the biometric voter verification kit, that is the BVK, to operate has left many voters wondering whether the voting exercise will be transparent and fair. I will pray Natongo, BBC News.
All right, that brings us to a halt. We shall take a short commercial break. But before we go for that break, Patricia, enlighten me on what your insights so far with these updates that we've gotten from several places. Of course, the live update and at Lubowa, and then also these updates that have come in. And of course, Dr. Crispus Kiyonga's victory at his constituency. What are your thoughts on?
Well, and not just Dr. Baryomonsi, Crispus, Kiyonga, sorry, but also His Excellency the President of Uganda won at his hometown. Yes, but what I wanted at the launch of the National Tally Center, we witnessed the Lord Justice Simon Byabakama, officially launching the tallying. So by 10:30 we will be beginning to see the numbers dropping in. And what I take from this is that I'll keep saying the same thing. At a point of a biometric malfunction, we thought probably chaos would break out. But now we see that we hold some confidence in the Electoral Commission, and we know that something like this, if it happens at any point, they already have it in their five fingers. They have it at hand, and I think we should appreciate. The voting exercise. It was quite smooth, and we can say that the rule of law was exercised. Yes, we can't say much.
Of course, the security agencies also mentioned that slightly northwards of 400 people had been captured or say arrested in relation to election malpractice. But with that said, we take a short commercial break. We'll be back with more. Please do stay tuned on UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda.
they have come in now.
Well, the day has gone a little bit far and the exercise is still running smoothly. And of course, by 10:30, we will be having the results there at the National Tally Center. But right now, we want to go over to Sironko Tally Center, where our reporter Farida Namfuka is on standby. And of course, she's on phone with Sironko District Woman Member of Parliament, aspirant Aisha Nabulo. Well, Farida, talk to us.
Yeah, we are here at Sironko Tallying Center. Yeah, it's at Sironko District, and the district returning officer has actually informed us that he's still waiting for results. They are still coming from the different polling stations. But the polling station where actually I was physically, the aspirants, the polling station is Bunazami Chosen Church, where the candidate for Forum for Democratic Change Party, the presidential candidate, has cast his vote, and the results here indicate that candidate Museveni got 146 votes, and then candidate Museveni got 157 votes. And candidate Nandala Mafabi got 146 votes from that particular polling station. And Chagulanyi for National Unity Platform also got 18 votes from that particular polling station. And then when we go to the results of members of parliament, an independent member of independent aspirant, Godfrey Wanyoto. Actually, this particular slot had like 19 candidates. But the competition was between two candidates, that is Godmark Wanyoto, who scored 157 votes, and Reverend Jackson Magembe of FDC, who scored 139 votes. Now, as we go to talk to Aisha Wanyoto, Aisha Mafabi Nabulo Lumoro, she's actually the one who has actually scored the highest in this particular polling station with 202, and the FDC candidate Fiona Nafuna has gotten 70 votes, and then the independent has gotten 40 votes. Now we want to understand who really Asha Mafabi is and what she has done actually to get this particular promising performance, because in most of the polling stations she has scored highly.
Okay. So
Yeah.
Okay, can we have her for a brief interview?
Yes. She's here.
Okay, Asha Nabulo, you're welcome.
Hello, how are you?
Yeah, I know it has been a tough day. You must be a little bit tired, but very anxious for the results. Yeah. So tell us, how has it been so far? Because we're almost heading to the tallying, yes? And we know so far the results indicate that you should be joyful. So we want to understand, how's the feel for you?
Well, I feel quite happy, and if I may say it in a polite way, rewarded by the community. When I ran for the same position last time, I was cheated of my victory, but I made a commitment to my people that whether I go through or I don't go through, I will continue serving them. And 2 weeks after the elections were out and I'd been cheated of my victory, I still remain on the ground. I went to the areas where I'd promised to deliver aid, for example, like Kenya, where most of the votes from my opponent were rigged from. I delivered mattresses and blankets to the widows I'd promised. And also, NRM usually gives us some money during the elections, that's about 50 million, and also they gave me an extra 20 at the end of the electoral process. I merged that money together and fulfilled all the pledges within the district because it was my job to fulfill the pledges. And after that, I continued lobbying from the donor companies which were assisting me, and I visited more donor companies by writing proposals and letters of interest requesting them to come and establish a relationship with the district officials. I thank the district officials of Seronko district. They have been nothing but quite helpful for me during the whole exercise because we need permission from them to do all these projects. In summary, I stayed on the ground. I served my people, and I served them in the name of NRM. Wherever I was introducing myself to my donors, I told them my names are Mafabi Ashanagulo, the NRM woman representative. I sold my party, I believe in my party and the vision it has. So I think those two things, fronting my party and above all staying in the community, has done great things. And also my father, the NRM chairperson of Seronko district, has done a great job in trying to unite the party, because it's a unity thing. We all have to work together towards a common goal. We had divisions last time because of the minister. She split the NRM camp. So the chairperson had just
we actually understand that there is a bit of favor there, and at the same time, of course, your performance, you've already given yourself a scorecard, which is very interesting. But right now we want to understand, to help some other people out there who are probably not performing well, what do you think could make a candidate fail or win?
Well, it's all about your commitment to service. Leadership is not something that you say, I am choosing fish or chicken. You have to commit. If you decide to go and serve the people and represent them, it's like motherhood. Whether things get tough or they are much easier, you stick to it.
But I thought that was the same character you carried the first time that you campaigned. Then what happened?
Well, the issue was, first and foremost, she was the incumbent. So she had an upper hand, which I did not have. All right. Secondly, she had help from other forces, which I cannot openly discuss about because, but it's an open secret. Honorable Nandala Mafabi did help her in delivering her victory. He recently mentioned it in one of the sub-counties that he has been betrayed by Nambozo after he supported her to deliver her to victory, and she has betrayed him. So it's now an open secret. But yes, she had help from Honorable Nandala Mafabi because previously he was a political giant in Bugiso. But we believe, based on the results of today, it has been proven that his moment is over. But yes, those were two main factors. And of course, let me tell you the truth, I was voted by the people. Even after the results were announced, there was no sign of jubilation within the district. In fact, several health workers called me because I had links with them. I'd done quite a number of projects in all the health facilities in Seronko, both private and government. I'd done given them mattresses, blankets, etc. The list goes on. But most importantly, they were calling me to inform me that they have admitted people, and when they do tests on them, they are not seeing any illness. They were sick of hysteria, heartbreak, things of that nature. And it is what forced me to get up, because I thought they were more in pain than I was. And I went on radio. I told them that I am committed for as long as the channels which have been bringing in the aid are still open, I will continue serving them. And I served them diligently, just like a mother would attend to their child in sickness and in health. And of course, it has been, I have been rewarded. My community has carried me. As Mogiso says, they have carried me on their backs. It has been a collective effort of the security, collective effort of the voters, and of course my family has stood firmly with me. They have encouraged me to push through, and let me tell you, it has been a hard 7 years, a hard journey. I looked forward to this day so many times. I can't believe this day has actually arrived. I'm at the Tally Center, and we're going to reconcile.
Yeah, we do hope that you win. But right now, can you just give us how you can grade the whole electoral process, right from Seronko and then over to Kampala, the whole national electoral process? How would you rate it? Away from Asha. Now, let's have the electoral process in general.
Well, I need to be quite honest. I have not been following all the other districts. I've been paying attention to my district. However, based on the communication from the chairperson, Electoral Commission, the party, I believe it has been a fair election. It has been a very expensive election, and I believe this was all because we wanted to have a different kind of electoral process this time around. And one of the things that I need to thank my party for, our party has stood by their flag bearers through thick and thin. They have given us moral support, they have given us financial support, and they gave us reinforcement to make sure us, the flag bearers who identify and ran for the primary elections, get the support they need. And I went unopposed in the party elections.
Well, we are blessed to have a woman member of parliament, a representative who is very, vocal about advocating for her constituency, but also at the same time as someone who is truly representing the community. And of course, as we go to the next story, this is what we've been longing for: upholding lawful conduct, mutual respect, peaceful coexistence. And I think these are some of the things that have kept the electoral activity move smoothly.
Yeah, and I think one thing for sure is that she seems to feel like she seems to feel like this time around the community has paid her back well with the votes, and she sounds rather happy, of course still anxious. But without further ado, let's get into more stories. The Speaker of Parliament, the Right Honourable Anita Among, was the first to vote at her polling station at Apopong Primary School after voting machines experienced a jam that delayed the process for nearly 2 hours. Our reporter was on the scene and shares with us these details.
You have 2 forms, so you have got 1 at 10. Oh, come on,
the small one.
Stand behind.
Stay behind.
I'm very, very delighted that we have had the most peaceful elections ever. I think ever since I was born. Because this is my second time participating in elections and voting. But today has been a very peaceful election, very peaceful day. The day has been calm. Amidst the hiccup that I had, because I wasn't there by the time that the hiccup was there. But actually, upon arriving my polling station, I was told that there was a bit of hiccup earlier on, but I've been able to vote successfully. And then right now, when you go to the polling station that I voted from, you hardly find anyone because people are very happy. It's a normal day.
Elections went on smoothly here in our polling station, especially in the morning. People turned up very, very early. Only that there was a small hindrance with the system, but eventually I think there was an announcement that people can use the normal, the normal voting system, the one they used to use previously, just ticking. So one thing I like about these elections this time around is that the security was very calm. People were very calm. There was no cause of an alarm.
Here is Jamila Oluka in Bukedia district where the speaker comes from, and we've been calling from where the speaker voted from Apopong Primary School. As you can see, she has done a great job to turn up, although there was a hiccup of the the machines that were supposed to help with the voting process, people didn't turn up to be violent. Everything went smooth and people actually voted, and they have been voting. And as you've seen, you've talked to many people who have testified how the violence was not there, the security was tight, and people turned up in big numbers. As you have heard, they said in Bukedia they will give a block vote for His Excellency President Yoweri Kaguta Museveni and also their flag bearers. We cannot tell you now because we will wait until Electoral Commission says that at the end of the whole process. For now, I want you to keep tuned. We will be bringing you all the stories from Bukedia district here with Jamila Oluka. Keep watching UBC TV.
Well, thank you very much, Jamila Oluka, for that update from Bukedia. We do also want to compel the audience that elections are not yet done, so wait to call this the most peaceful election. But of course, do compelling you to keep peace and calm. The security agencies are doing their best to make sure that lives and property are also safe.
True. Very true. And of course, a takeaway would be that the elections are a cornerstone of our governance and a national identity.
Yeah.
Everyone should know that. And of course, the will of the people will always remain a guiding force for our democracy. Thank you very much for joining us and allowing us into your space. My name is Patricia Komampango.
And I'm Wadulo Arnold. Mark Sharon Chomjisha will be joining you in a few minutes before we go to the Tally Center in Lubowa. Otherwise, have yourselves a lovely one from us.
It's a bye-bye.
My name is Colonel Banson Desderius Mande. I'm the Director Research and Analysis, National Counterterrorism Center. As we go into this electoral season, we all need to work as whole government, whole society, for people to talk peace and maintain peace before, during, and after elections. Uganda is for all of us. We need it secure. We need these elections free of violence.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace. We are into the political season. The atmosphere is highly charged. There is a lot of excitement everywhere you look. But elections come and go. We all remain the same people staying in this one country. We must prioritize peace. We do not want to witness violence. No one should be throwing stones. No one should be using inciting language or abusing others. No one should use a stick against a fellow citizen. No one should use bullets or even tear gas against citizens. Instead, we should sit as brothers and sisters, as Ugandans, and discuss issues that may appear different, one camp from the other. I look forward to seeing an NRM supporter sitting with an NUP supporter and taking coffee. I want to see somebody from Arua sitting down for a cup of coffee with someone from Bugisu, from Chigezi, from Buganda. Let's learn to tolerate each other, even when we have differences between us, because that's how we are created. We are not the same. What we should appreciate is that we can all live together. Uganda is big enough for everyone. So we should respect one another. We should not incite violence. We should not in any way participate in anything that breaches the peace. That's my call to all Ugandans during this season.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace. I'm Superintendent of Police, Bagans Patience, the DPC Dokoro. We are in for the election period, and my role as police is to provide security. However, if we are to have a peaceful election, it is a two-way traffic. The Wananchi also have a role to play in this. The catchword in this is to have an election period where everyone is to participate freely without any fear. Our commitment as police, we are going to prepare and prepare and prepare. And then we shall give a leveled ground for all of you to participate in this election. We call upon all Ugandans to keep peace during this election period.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace. Hi guys, we are going into the elections as a country. My job, your job is to pray that God himself will choose for us the best leaders, whether they are in this party or in this party. As long as it is God who has chosen them, then he will be with them. May God help us as we vote. Also, I encourage all my young people, make sure you stay alive to see your future. Be peaceful, don't fight. Someday I saw a guy getting a rock and telling a guy with a gun, Okolechi, Okolechi. I'm like, come on, you have a future to protect. Make sure you are peaceful, even though your wife, your sister, your brother.
With so many countries represented here, walk proudly with the passport of your creed and your words. Enjoy your time, have fun, make friends, and don't hesitate to say hi when we cross paths. Join the parties, they're very fun, the clubs, and the celebrations. Embrace your diversity and be yourself. We are cheering you on.
Of peace, for stability, and for development. So at this important time, as Uganda prepares once again to go to the elections, this is an appeal that citizenship and electoral participation does not have to mean destruction. So a call to everyone to participate, to exercise their civic duties, but also to promote peace. We need peace to continue to feed our families. We need peace to be able to continue to grow. And we need peace if we really want to become the beacon of hope, tourism, and trade on the African continent.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace.
I'm urging all youth, I'm urging all Ugandans, please, let's have a peaceful elections this time round. Let's vote peacefully. After voting, let's walk back home. Let's protect our gains. Let's be peaceful. Please, let's gather in numbers. Let's go and vote peacefully. Then we go home peacefully. Thank you.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace.
As we go into the final lap of the electoral campaigns and into polling, we are calling upon all the people of Uganda to conduct themselves peacefully. First of all, the candidates, we call upon you to use suitable language that shows respect and tolerance, and language that promotes peace and unity, because we are all Ugandans and elections should not divide us. So we call for language that is respectful of people's cultures, people's views, and is tolerant, because we all have different views, but we all want to have a very, very united country. Uganda, and a progressive one at that. So we are calling upon you to conduct yourself peacefully as we go into the final days of the campaigns, and on polling day to respect the views of others and to accept the results of the elections, and know that after the elections there will still be a Uganda, and we need each other as citizens of Uganda. I wish you a peaceful electoral process, and I call upon you to be peaceful. Peace-loving Ugandans. God bless you.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
This is the moment Uganda turns from voting to verification. With the now open National Tally Center in Lubowa, the EC is about to announce results from whatever they've collected across the country at 10:30. And of course, that will be coming in with the chairperson of EC, Justice Simon Balathina. Very good evening and welcome to UBC TV, Inspiring Uganda, coming to you live from the Now Avenue with me, Sharon Chomjusha. Today can be marked as a successful day, 15th of January 2026, where people, or Ugandans, the citizens, have gone ahead to practice or gone ahead to vote for their leaders, the ones that they feel like can address the issues that they have as Ugandans for the next 5 years. And of course, today has been very successful, even with a few hiccups that the police managed to talk to us about through our reporters from the National Tally Center. Over 400 citizens have been arrested from areas like Katwe and Nansana, where some of these were trying to create commotion on this day, but then police was able to nip it in the bud. Thank you so much for watching, and we still continue with giving you updates on whatever has been transpiring today. And later on at 10:30, we'll be coming in with results from the EC National Tally Center in Lubowa. Now we'll have some stories, of course, also going on with what transpired and which areas have voted, how the turn-up was like, which presidential candidates went and voted, and the areas that, whatever happened, we still have that coming up on UBC. Now, earlier today, the incumbent President Yoweri Museveni scooped all the votes at his home ground polling station in Rachtura at Karori Primary School. Take a look at the story.
How many people did you win? 7. You were 7. 7. 7. You were 7. 7. 7. 7. 7. You're waiting. This is the same. This one is another one. But you've got this one is invariant. 7. 4. 5. Invalid.
3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 11, 12, 13, 14, 85, 86, 87, 89, 88, 89, 90, 92, 93, 94, 95,
7. 7. 7. How many people did you win? 7. You were 7. 7. 7. You were 7. 7. 7. 7. 7. You're waiting. This is the same. This one is another one. But you've got.
That's an update where President Museveni scooped all the votes at his home ground polling station in Rachtura. Now, still in more that has happened and transpired today, our colleague Haruna Mtesa Sida is on a call from Ntungamo Tally Center, and we need to hear from him to know what is transpiring. A very good evening, Haruna. Please go ahead and update us.
Good evening to you, Sharon, and our viewers watching us everywhere you are on UBC TV, the national broadcaster. Right now, I'm in Ntungamo district at the district center, just waiting for the provisional results to be streamed live on the screens placed inside this main hall. Everything is set despite the delay of the results from the different polling stations. Remember, they are supposed to be collected from the streets, collected by the security and the EC district officials. And remember, Ntungamo has many counties that include Rusheng, Ntungamo Municipality, Kajala County, Ruhama County, and the Ruhama Main. So it's a big task ahead of us tonight.
Okay.
Especially when the voting was done manually. So up to now, there is nothing taking place apart from enjoying the sound soft music from the loudspeakers.
Okay. What do people seem like? What is the attitude of the people, the ones that are in the room that you said you are part of?
Yes, inside here we have almost an empty hall because most of the candidates they have not yet arrived at this main hall. Apart from the two who are, I think, they have already known their results, and people are saying that they are the winners until we wait for the EC official to announce. But Jed Karuhanga, who has been contesting for Ntungamo Municipality, for him he has been declaring himself that he is the winner, and also Viola Munya, I've forgotten another name, but that woman member parliament for Ntungamo district. Those are the only two candidates I think who have at least we have known the others. They are leading so far until when we hear from the commission from this talent center.
Are the celebrations going to be at that very hall later on, or when do you expect them to come? 10:30, because for the National Tally Center, Justice Byabakama said that at 10:30 they'll start to send in their results, or they will have it broadcasted live, and we'll get to know who has won where. So is that when everybody's going to come and fill up that room or something?
Yes, that was the official communication we got when we arrived here at around 6:30. But from 8 to 9, I only saw 4 pickups coming up with some carrying boxes of the voting materials from the field. But from that time, nothing has been taking place. So we are just waiting from the official communication from these EC Ntungamo district officials. But up to now, we are just seeing journalists inside the main hall, and also some few police officers. The rest are just scattered outside the tent, gathering some information, and are also receiving some boxes which have just arrived from different counties which are making Ntungamo district. But I think this delay came as a result of the morning exercise, where voting was not managed in time as guided by the EC. So in many areas, the voting materials arrived very late, at around 10 a.m. to 11 a.m., which means that most polling stations, they began their voting at around midday to 1 p.m. So you see how these delays came from morning, and I don't think that even up now we shall get these results by tonight.
Really? Did you have a smooth run despite starting off a little bit later in the day?
Yes, despite that there was some slow turn up from different polling stations. But I think it was smoothly managed because most of the people who had come earlier by 7:30 to 8:30 or 9:30, they had gone back home because they thought maybe the voting has been cancelled. So others were just calling them, their neighbors and friends to come back and engage in this voting exercise. So I think the delay caused all the challenges which we are facing now at this talent center here in Ntungamo.
Very interesting, Haruna. Well, I understand the main hall is empty, but enjoy for 2. And we hope that everybody turns up once the results are brought in. And I mean, once EC gets to announce. Thank you so much for the update. Have a lovely night, and I hope everything works out. And Jane and Viola, who are already expectant to be winners, I hope they go through and nothing changes. Thank you, Haruna.
You're welcome.
Now, from that, we still had, by press time, the opposition was still in the early lead in different polling stations across Kira municipality, and the competition has been a neck-to-neck as NUP's George Musisi dominates PFF's Ibrahim Semujunganda, who is also the current area member of parliament. In the race for woman member of parliament, incumbent Betty Efel Naluyima was still in the early lead, and we have details of what transpired. Take a look.
Umbrella.
How can you make Ugandans wait from 7 when they were at the polling stations up to 11 when you can issue the directive? Why frustrate Ugandans? I really sympathize with many of you who were at the polling stations so much early, but until the directive was issued, that's when you managed to vote. All the same.
In the NRM structures, we have the mainstream, where the chairman and the vice and others who are 5, and the women league, and the youth league, and the elders, and disabled. President told us that since the money of the parish model is very small for only 100 million, he said we go back and write our people for those people who are having the midara, who are making chapati, who are having the butogo, such that the president can give them can contribute toward their small businesses.
Of course, we're positioned in different places in the country, different areas per se, if you want, and we have different reporters in all these areas to keep us updated with verified information and accurate information on what is happening as people await the final results that will be announced by the EC chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama. Right about now, we'll talk to Eddie Olua from Northern Uganda, Lira City. A very good evening, Eddie Olua. Any updates on what's happening ahead of the announcement of the results that will be coming in a few minutes from now?
Good evening, Sharon, and all our viewers. We are coming to you live from Lira City. Right now, I am at the Lira City Council Hall, where tallying is taking place. As you very well know, Lira City has been having one of those hottest contests between 2 cabinet ministers, that is Gender Minister Betty Mongi, and then the incumbent woman MP for Lira City now, that is Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng, the Health Minister. The contest has been one of those hottest ones in the region, in Lango sub-region here, and there were 3 candidates who were rivaling for the same position, but one pulled out, leaving the race only between the 2. Right now, tallying is taking place here, and we shall be hoping to get the results in a few hours from now. But Sharon, if you may allow, during the day, a number of activities were taking place. Of course, voting started late, as it was in most parts of the country, and that was basically as a result of delays in delivering the voting materials, but also the verification machine also failed in most of the polling stations. But also in some polling stations where I visited, you find that some officers did not show up for work, so it took the electoral commission some time to find other officers to fill in.
Eddie, what do you mean some officers didn't turn up for work?
Yeah, for a case in point is Ireda Gully polling station at Ireda Primary School. The presiding officer did not show up for work. So voters were there waiting, the voting materials were delivered, but then the person who was supposed to receive them and then, preside over the election at that polling station wasn't there. So the returning officer and the team had to mobilize quickly and then found somebody whom they sent, and later on voting started.
Wow, that's very interesting.
Shortly after that, we saw the two prominent ministers voting in. Betty Amongi voting at Lango Cultural Center together with her husband, also the party president for UPC, that is Jim McKenna. And then Dr. also voted around midday at Ireda Primary School. But later on, immediately after the voting, some situation came up where we had some scuffle at Boro West, that is in Lira City East, where some vigilantes around the community group of border borders surrounded the car belonging to Honorable Betty Amongi, and their claim was she was moving around the polling station, and they were suspicious that her movement together with her husband was kind of like mobilizing people to vote for them, and they were not happy with that, so they surrounded the vehicle, not allowing them to move. So there was some bit of scuffle there that prompted the intervention of security. I saw there the 5th Division Commander, that is Faith Katunji, who rushed to the scene and then talked to the people there. Of course, the assistant RCCs were there, including the deputy RCC for Lira City East. And then later they escorted the minister together with her husband, that is Jima Kema, back home, where they asked her not to leave home. But when we spoke to police to try to ask whether that was kind of like a house arrest, the police PRO for North Kyoga region, that is Jimmy Patrick Okema, was able to confirm to us that they really took her back home, but she's not under house arrest. But they just requested her not to move anywhere because when they move, they kind of cause tension among people. Okema also told us that the same meeting was also held with the Health Minister, Dr. Jane Rutha Cheng, whom they also asked her to remain at home. So they advised them that if there is any situation in the ground, they could use their agents whom they have deployed on the ground to manage or handle situations as and when they arise. But overall, the whole process was peaceful. There has been, we could observe security deployment almost in all corners of the city. Some of them, we could see them walking on foot. Some were using motorcycles, and then we also had some in pickup. And these have been a mix of both officers from Uganda Police Force and then the army, who have been moving and patrolling around and ensuring that people really vote freely, and then no situation actually happens and escalates. But also, moving around the town today, the streets were not as busy as it used to be, and I could see during the daytime that over 80% of businesses were actually closed. Very few businesses were open, and coming around evening hours, around 5, the majority of them were already closed, and the streets were not as busy as it used to be. So right now we are just stationed here waiting for results. Tallying is ongoing for presidential, tallying is ongoing for the woman member of parliament, tallying is ongoing for the 2 division members of parliament, that is City East and then City West Sharon.
A quick one, Eddie. Yes. I know we're waiting on EC for the results, for the final results, accurate and verified. But what do we have as provisional, if you may?
Thank you, Sharon. So what I can only tell you, of course, we cannot confirm as we wait for results, that what is happening right now is that we can hear and see a group of people, especially from the NRM camp, already celebrating, and they are kind of convinced that the woman member of parliament is going to their side, that is Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng. And from the preliminary results which are coming in here from most of the polling stations, we can say that Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng is still leading in most of the polling stations. But the gap is not yet very huge, but we can hear people celebrating and people are happy. We can also see agents belonging to Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng inside the hall here, and they are all celebrating, they are happy. You know, we can see them greeting each other. And then in the two divisions for the parliamentary candidates, in Lira City East and City West, we can see UPC candidates also in the room and their agents, and they seem a little bit hopeful that the day is going to them. Of course, most of these candidates, they also have their independent tally center. So before they walk in here, they have already tallied all their results and they come in here. But we cannot confirm that that may be the case, because we are here waiting on the EC to give the official results, and that is when we shall confidently communicate. But we are hearing also people celebrating outside there that the day is going to Dr. Jane Ruth Acheng.
And did you vote?
Yes, I did. I did vote after running around. So around 4, I had to rush after covering the other scaffold. I had to rush to my polling station. That is at St. Mary's, Angwet, where I did the voting, and then eventually also went to other polling stations to see how counting of votes at the polling stations were happening.
Thank you so much, Eddie, for the update, and thank you for going ahead to vote for the leaders that you want to see. Create change where you need it and maintain whatever you feel like has been worked on. Have a lovely night, and we will still wait for EC to announce. I know it's already past 10:30, which was the time allocated or allotted for the results coming in from EC. So many issues happened during the day, like the biometrics machines are failing, as well as, you know, a few scaffolds here and there from different polling stations, like in Nansana and the others that I mentioned earlier, and then so many others. But we'll still keep you updated as soon as we're ready to roll or to go to the EC Tally Center in Lubowa. Now, in Bokono constituency, Namutumba district, where the race is between the incumbent Minister of Lands, Pasis Namuganza, and Emmanuel Maganda Katoke, the National Resistance Movement flag bearer minus skirmishes were reported at Tibale polling station, and the situation was later brought under control and voting resumed normally.
You're welcome. Those who are just joining us, you're welcome to the National Tally Center for the presidential elections 2026. And the Commission is just getting back in to take charge of this exercise. The chairperson of the Commission, Justice Babakam Morgan Simon, the Deputy Chairperson, Hajat Aisha Rubega, and the Commissioners and the Acting Secretary. You're welcome, Lord Chairperson of the Commission. You may take your seats. And straight away take us through what you have to communicate to the country. Over to you, Lord Chair. Thank you.
Distinguished guests and dear citizens who are watching us, wherever you are. These are the first preliminary results of the presidential elections that the Commission has received and ascertained so far. Total number of registered voters, 21,649,067 on the National Voters Register. The total number of polling stations, 50,739. Results, the total number of polling stations from which we have received results at this point in time, 133, representing 0.26% of total polling stations. These are so far the results per presidential candidate. Bulira Frank Kavinga, Party RPP, votes received so far 84, representing 0.36% of the valid votes cast for candidates so far. Kaswante Robert, Party NPP, total number of votes 66, representing 0.29% of the valid votes cast for candidates. Excuse me. Kyagulanyi Sentam Robert, NUP, 7,753 votes, representing 33.64% of the valid votes cast for the candidates. Mabirizi Joseph, CP, votes 45, representing 0.20% of the valid votes cast. Mugisha Gregory Muntu Oyera, ANT, 164 votes, representing 0.71% of valid votes cast for candidates. Munyagwa Mubarak Serunga, CMP, 145 votes, representing 0.63% of valid votes cast. Nandala Mafabi James Nathan, FDC, 560 votes, representing 2.43% of valid votes cast. Yoweri Tuhaburwa Kaguta Museveni, NRM, 14,232 votes, representing 61.7% of valid votes cast so far. Total number of valid votes for all the candidates so far is 23,049. Invalid votes so far, 796, representing 3.34% of the total votes cast. Total number of votes altogether, 23,845, representing 0.11% of the total number of registered voters. The spoiled votes are 37. That is the position as of now. Ladies and gentlemen, and all you who are watching us, as I said, that is the first preliminary results the Commission has received so far at this National Tally Center. It's now coming to 11 p.m. The next update will be tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. I wish all of you a blessed night. Thank you so much.
What's the percentage?
Now, we have received the first update of the vote of the tallies that have just been released by the Electoral Commission, official information by the Electoral Commission, and read by Justice Simon Byabakama, the chairperson of the Electoral Commission, here just a few seconds or minutes ago. He has read to us 1,033 polling stations that have come in with a total number of votes of 23,049. Of those, candidate Frank Bulira had 84 votes. Candidate Frank Kasibante has 66 votes. Candidate Chagulanyi Robert Sentamu of the NUP has 7,753 votes. Elton Joseph Mabirizi has 45 votes. General Gregory Mugisha Muntu has 164 votes. Candidate Munyagwa Mubarak has 145 votes. Nandala Mafabi of the FDC has 560 votes. And candidate Yoweri Museveni of the National Resistance Movement has 14,232 votes. The total vote is 23,049 votes. That is what they have released so far, and it was just at 11 sharp. According to the Chair Electoral Commission, we are going to have another update tomorrow morning at 9 a.m. and the expectation is that by that time a number of other polling stations will have sent their results and how it has been. Now I want to talk to someone as we close. Maybe he has been in the election observation for a very long time. His name is Mr. Crispy Kakeru. Good evening, sir.
Good evening to you. Just to be very accurate, I have observed 150 elections in over 50 countries globally.
Okay. I have wanted to ask this. What is that standard that is looked at and taken as the standard that qualifies an election to be free and fair? There may be a number, but what is that main one that an observer may share?
People should be able to participate freely, unimpeded in an electoral process. That's the only one. That's the gold standard. Yeah, I mean, anything besides that is really secondary. The primary standard is people, as long as you're a registered voter, you should be able to participate in the electoral process unimpeded.
You have observed elections in Africa.
Correct.
Out of 100, how do we score?
On the African continent. Well, I wouldn't want to give a score because different African countries have different contexts, and the contexts determine the type of elections we have. But I will tell you one thing, that in Uganda, we are talking about the need for electoral reforms, but our laws are one of the best in as far as electoral processes are concerned, not just on the African continent, but in the world.
Why?
Because our laws provide for that unimpeded participation in the electoral process. You might have a question whether we translate what is in the books of law into implementation. That's a whole different question. But in as far as the legal framework for elections in Uganda is concerned, it's one of the best. And I will tell you why. Now, in many of the African countries, you cannot challenge results from an election. It's cast in stone. Once the electoral authorities announce the results, that's it. In Uganda, you can challenge an election result. In fact, I shouldn't even be going far. In the neighborhood, in Tanzania, once a candidate is announced winner for a presidential position, that seals it. No challenging it in court, no challenging it anywhere. That's the legal position. It's in the Constitution. But here, people can.
And we have seen it happen.
We've seen it happen.
But besides seeing it happen and the legal framework giving us that leverage, do we really practice what our law gives us as a country?
Yes, we do, with challenges. Implementation of the law has never been seamless anywhere in the world. Even in the best democracies that we love to cite, the UK, the US, you've seen how the US elections have been conducted. You've seen how UK elections are run. You've seen elections in the largest democracy in the world, India, how they're run. So, translating the law into actual practice has never been seamless. And I think we would be lying to ourselves if we wanted to say that there is a society that implements the law to the very point that that law has to be implemented. No. What we aim for, I think the law sets the standard, and we need to adhere to that standard as much as we can. Now, what we see in Uganda is an attempt. We try. Challenges exist, and that is why we're still talking about the need for improvements in the electoral laws. But beyond improvements in the electoral laws, we also need to talk about enforcement. Enforcement, which is what we're going back to, translating what is in the books of law into action.
Not only elections, why do we set standards that we fail to see to reality? How can we be the best people to write laws that we cannot achieve in reality to even 80%? How does that happen?
The law is a standard. You always aspire to. You always try to. If you hit the standard, perfect. But the law is supposed to. It's like in flight language, what they call a Doppler. You know, planes follow the Doppler. You know, the Doppler is put somewhere, and the planes are supposed to follow that. So that is what the intent of the law is. You follow the law. Now, why you've asked, why do we have laws that we fail to score? I don't think it is the intention to fail to score to the best of the law. I think it is the realities of life that we have to constantly address. Now, we need to constantly address those challenges that impede us from meeting the standard of the law. That is why we are talking about electoral reforms constantly. And that is why, ahead of each and every election, it is important that a country thinks about the recommendations that were made from previous elections and seeks to cure those problems. And you can cure those problems by law, by administration, by program. By law, legal reforms. By administration, through making amendments in electoral administration, institutional arrangements, so that you deliver to your objective. By program, by putting in place programs that will support your objective. Civic education, voter education, and a host of all other, peace programming, etc., etc.
I want to end with this one in form of an example. I was interviewing an opposition leader during the campaign time, and they were complaining, this is the candidate, but he's still the president at the same time. I asked him, you have MPs in parliament who know about this law and sit where the laws have to be amended. They go silent about it 5 years and only complain about it during election time. Yesterday I was asking the Electoral Commission chairperson, where he was saying, yes, we know it is the law that allows you to keep around the electoral area, polling station, but we think, and I told him, the law is the law. Why don't you seek an amendment of that law in order to fit? Why do people forget, or why do we forget to take these steps and then complain after?
Well,
as somebody who stands in the middle in the capacity of an observer.
Now, let's begin with your first analogy. How many opposition members of parliament are running for elective offices right now? Many, all of them. So they're incumbents. They're running again. Yeah? So when we are having these conversations, we should be holistic. We shouldn't cherry pick that we focus on this position or that position. So if you're talking about the risks of incumbents running for elective offices while remaining in their offices, let's look at that across the board. Let's not be selective. So for me, I think that is the beginning point of the conversation. Secondly, why do the members of parliament who sit in parliament complain about these issues, yet they can change the laws in the spaces where we have sent them?
And they wait during election time.
Now, I can answer you this way, that even me, I wouldn't know why that happens. But I don't want to say that human beings are selfish beings, but that is what I see, because you are actually in the space where you can make these amendments. Why not undertake them and come out to say, I mean, that you.
This is the right way to go.
Exactly.
Let us go this way.
But also, you know, when you are in Parliament, you are not just a representative of your constituency. You're a representative of the entire country. You act in good faith for the entire country. So, where there is a law that needs to be passed, you should be at the forefront of advocating for that law, whether in a private member's capacity or through government. So, many of these MPs have the space, they have the capability, they have the ability, but they don't use it. Why? I don't know. Are they disingenuous? I am tempted to think so at times.
Thank you so much.
You're welcome.
His name is Crispy Kaheru. He is an elections observer generally. Yes, I have been reminded that we need to share information in the local language. Atulaba ku Star TV, ssentebe w'akakiiko k'ebyokulonda afulumizaayo ebimu ku byakavaayo mu kulonda okubaddewo olwaleero okwaba pulezidenti naddala jjukira okwaba memba ba parliament okulangirira kubeera ku districts wano ku National Talent Center we tuli watuukawo bululu oba ebivudde mu kulondebwa okwaba president. Kakati mu bifulumye bivudde mu bifo awalondebwa 1,303. Bakandidate bali 8. Asooka ye Frank Bulira afunye yakafuna obululu 84. Kasibante alina obululu 66. Kyagulanyi Robert Sentamu alina obululu 7,753. Mabirizi Joseph Elton alina obululu 45. Kwebyo ebyakafulumizibwa. General Gregory Mugisha Muntu owa ANT alina obululu 164. Honorable Mubaraka Munyagwa alina obululu 145. Kwebyo ebyakafulumizibwa. Nandala Mafabio wa FDC alina obululu 506. Kwebyo ebyakafulumizibwa. Ate Yoweri Museveni wa NRM alina obululu 1,432. Kwebyo ebyakafulumizibwa. Olwaleero bifulumiziddwa ku ssaawa 5 ez'ekiro nga Justice Simon Byabakama asuubiza nti agenda kuddamu okufulumya ebirala nga bwe bikyajja enkya ku makya essaawa 3 ez'okumakya. N'olwekyo beera bulindaala, of course tugenda kuba tubikuwa ku UBC ne Star TV. That is how the evening has been, with an update from the Electoral Commission bringing in part of the results of what has come out from the elections, the votes that were cast this evening. We thank you so much for watching. And on behalf of the whole team here, we wish you the best of the night. Let's catch you tomorrow as we continue with the coverage of the whole process till the declaration of the winners and who the president will be, who the MPs will have won. Keep it UBC TV, Star TV. My name is Michael Jordan Lukomwa on behalf of the whole team here at the National Talent Center and as well at the Broadcast House, Nile Avenue in Kampala.
My name is Colonel Banison.
We are into the political scene.
Welcome back from that short commercial break. We still continue with what has happened. And for now, we actually, a few minutes ago, we got the first set of preliminary results from the EC chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, from the National Tally Center in Lubowa by the EC. And of course, he gave us details that included the 133 polling stations with over 23,049 votes. And we had Bolira Frank from the RPP party with 84 votes. Kasibante Robert, NPP, with 66 votes, which runs off to 0.29%. Chagulani Sentamo from the National Unity Platform with 7,753 votes. That's at 33.64%. Mabidizi Joseph of the CP party, 45 votes at 0.20%. And Mujisha Muntu Ant Party, 164 votes, which is a 0.71%. Munyagwa Mubarak from the CMP Party, 145 votes with a 0.63%. And Nandala Mafabi, FDC, 560 votes at 2.43%. And General Museveni, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni from the NRM Party with 14,232 votes at 61.7%. The Justice told us that valid votes were 2,349 votes. The invalid votes were rounded off to 796 votes at 3.34%, and the spoiled votes were 37 votes. He also added that we'll have more details or more updates tomorrow at 9 a.m. from the National Tally Center in Lubowa, and for now, the Tally Center is closed. We'll keep you updated with our reporters who are in different places to let us know what is happening and what the atmosphere looks like. And right about now, we'll go straight to Daniel Oga, who is at Kololo, which is the Tally Center for Kampala.
Once again, I am here at Kololo's Independence Ceremonial Grounds, and this is the gazetted place for as the tallying center for Kampala district. And what I can tell you is that the returning officer, who is Muhasia Rashid, has already taken his position, and we are just waiting for few hours, and then the exercise will be starting, and that will be the final tallying of the results from all the polling stations in Kampala district. If my camera person can just show you around, there are tents which have been set aside according to the divisions, and that is Central Division, Kawempe, Machinde, Nakawa, all have been set aside, and all the polling agents, the polling assistants, all the returning officers are just ready to take up their positions. As we speak right now, the results are being brought in quietly, calmly, accompanied by security and some other election stakeholders. We are just waiting for the rest of the people to take up their positions. Here, no single candidate has surfaced. I don't know what is happening, but what I can tell is that no single candidate has arrived here, not even the agents. So that means that maybe the exercise might a bit start on a later time, because we haven't yet known what is going to happen. But what I can tell you is that the returning officer of Kampala district, that is Muhasia Rashid, has taken position. So we are all here just waiting for what will happen in the few hours from now. The DJ has just given us a good preamble, has given us a very good selection, very good music that is trying to keep the temperature and the moods calm, because emotions in Kampala have been really a heated one, because Kampala is one of the hotspots that has had heated campaigns, and the exercise has really showed that it has been a neck-to-neck competition. So that is what I can tell you, and that is what is happening right now. we can only see white chairs. Most of the stakeholders haven't yet taken position, so we are waiting. That's what we are all here for. We are waiting to see what happens next. I have only known that the returning officer of Kampala district, Muhasia Rashid, has already taken his seat and is also waiting as the results chop in slowly by slowly. So that is what is happening here, Sharon. We shall be updating you of maybe any new developments with time, but that is what is happening right now. So thank you very much, Sharon.
Welcome back from that. You're still watching UBC TV Inspiring Uganda, live from the Nile Avenue with us, with a night for accuracy, patience and verified information coming in from the EC Tele Center, but also from our reporters who are across the country. Actually, right now we're going to hear from Crispus Adenitwe, who is from Kanungu. A very good evening, Crispus. What does the atmosphere look like tonight?
Thank you so much, Sharon Chomjisha. Dear viewer and listener, I'm coming to you live from Kanungu district, specifically at the district headquarters, where the district returning officer Mukundane David has already started reading some of the presidential election results which are coming in. Specifically, he has given us results from Katete sub-county. All of them are already in the results from the 14 polling stations. And candidate Yoweri Kaguta Museveni, he has taken the lead in all the polling stations, followed by candidate Sentamu Robert Shagulanyi. So if I first paint for you, Kanungu district has got two counties, that is Chinchizi East and Chinchizi West. And for Chinchizi East, we are having the incumbent member of parliament, that is the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, Dr. Chris Wariomunsi. He is standing as the NRM flag bearer against the current LC5 chairperson, Mr. Sam Aranaito Kajojo. So some of the preliminary results coming from the polling stations which I was able to visit today, they indicate another lead for the Minister for ICT, that is the Dr. Chris Wariomunsi. And so generally, there are two main rivals for this spot. That is Mr. Sam Kajojo and Dr. Chris Wariomunsi. Then for Chinchizi West, we are having the incumbent member of parliament, that is Mr. James Kaberuka. James Kaberuka, also preliminary results coming from there indicate that he's in an early lead. His main rival is a retired senior police Superintendent of Police John Ndungutse, who is coming on an independent ticket. And then for the district woman member of parliament, we are having the incumbent, Shaba Patience Nkunda. In fact, she is the current NRM woman. She's the current district member of parliament for Kanungu district. She's standing as an independent candidate. She lost in the NRM flag bearer elections. The one who has the flag is Namara Betty. So preliminary results coming in also indicate that Namara Betty is in an early lead in most of the polling stations. I was able to compile results from. So painting for the picture from Kanungu district. Today, I can authoritatively say that there was no use of biometric voter verification kits. They totally failed. The voters turned up early in the morning to come and vote, and I must also commend that these people actually turned up. They turned up early to vote this morning. The polling officials were already set. They were already there. Actually, by 7 a.m. Actually, the polling station was already open for casting of the for casting the votes. And when they started using the kits, they didn't work. In fact, one polling official, when she was trying to scan her ID, that's when the thing jammed. And therefore, since we already know that it was mandatory, it was supposed to be used as a mandatory requirement before people start casting their votes, they had to first wait for an instruction from the district returning officer, Mr. Mukundane David. Until when an instruction was given, then they had now to resort to using voters register. So confirmed is that today people had to use voters register. They failed in this whole of Kanungu district. So there was also one incident which happened at Kayanja Catholic Church, where the Minister for ICT and National Guidance, where he was casting his vote from. What happened? There was deployment of army officers. Contrary, because the law says that you're supposed to deploy army at a polling station if the police constables have been overwhelmed. But what happened, the minister, he found there some army officers, and this was not supposed to be the case. They were not supposed to be there. He asked them, who has deployed you? People were already actually casting their votes peacefully, and the scuffle actually erupted from there. And the accusation is his main rival, that is some Aranite Kajojo. The accusation is that he sent his car having some army officers to intimidate the voters. That's what happened. So a scuffle erupted from the polling station. Calls were made. People actually even had to deflect, if I may also say. They deflated the tire for the car because these army officers, they came, they had been called. They didn't have official call from the police constables, maybe that they had been overwhelmed at the polling station. So it was not a nice incident until when they had to move away after they deflated the car tire, the tires of the car. They had come in, they had to go walking back. The people at the polling station they had become chaotic enough. They were ready to do anything.
Christopher, just to interject, we had a situation like that happen in Lira City. We just talked to Eddie Olwa, our reporter, and he highlighted how, Betty Among had an issue like that, or something that seemed like she was trying to campaign, yet you're no longer allowed to campaign. And they were her and her husband were driven back to their home, not under house arrest, but they were driven back and asked to stay home until the process came to an end. Did anything happen, or were there any repercussions to this gentleman that you're highlighting who had security, who had the army officers or soldiers involved?
Now, what happened, this gentleman I'm talking about, he's the main rival for Minister Chris Baryomonsi. So accusations are that he deployed army officers using his own car at the polling station of Minister Chris Baryomunsi. That is at Kayanja Catholic Church. So when Minister Baryomunsi realized that the deployment had been done by his main rival, of course, people started saying that why are these armed officers here? We have already police constables here. Why are they intimidating us? People had guns there. So the scuffle was actually, it was not a nice thing for people who were there. The voters had also actually gotten up in arms, ready to actually chase them away, even to fight back, until when the armed officers actually went after Minister Fighting Chris Baryomunsi intervened and asked them, who has deployed you? Can you go back? It was not a nice incident. They went back, their car remained, and it was taken after, and that is towards the end of the polls. But by and large, after that...
That drives me to my question, actually, my next question. If it's does then this race sort of seem like it's really between the rival and Chris Baryomunsi? And how do those preliminary results look like, or how did they look like?
Yeah. So, this was actually what happened. Minister Chris Baryomunsi, after arriving at the polling station, he found their armed officers deployed. But it was not that maybe they had been called to be deployed there. So it's like there was an underhand behind this deployment. Because the police constables who were already there, they were already guarding the place securely well. The voters were already casting their votes peacefully. So Minister Chris Baryomunsi, after arriving, he asked, who deployed you? Are these people overwhelmed, the police constables who are here? Are they overwhelmed that they need your security deployment? And who gave you instructions? That's how the scuffle started.
I understand that, Crispus, but I'm asking, my question is, does the race sort of look like these two candidates are at loggerheads because their results look like, well, the competition is really the two of them, and what do those results look like? Is it really it's not necessarily a tie, but does it look like it's these two candidates that are standing out in Kanungu?
Yeah, for Chinchiz East, these are the two main contenders for Chinchiz East. That is the Minister Chris Baryomunsi and the Minister Sam Kajojo. So, and here, what started up the incident is the rival of Minister Chris Baryomunsi, he deployed army officers at the polling station where Minister Chris Baryomunsi where he's supposed to cast his vote from. This is his polling station where he cast his vote today. That's where the scuffle, actually, that's how the scuffle began. These guys, these are the two main rivals for Chinchiz East.
Okay, for Chinchiz East, what do those, by the time the polls were closing or closed, and the vote counting now was taking place before they were sent to the National Tally Center in Lubowa, what did that look like? Was it a tie? Is Chris Baryomunsi ahead of Kajojo? What's happening? Yeah. Okay. So after that scuffle, of course, Minister Chris Baryomunsi intervened, and the situation was put under control. The army officers, they had to go. The police constables remained actually manning the security as people actually finished the voting process. So at the end of the day, when the results, this is how the results looked like at the end of the polling. We had Minister Chris Baryomunsi garnering 223 votes. Then Mr. Sam Kajojo got 10 votes. We had Karunji Ruth garnering 5 votes. Then we had 2 invalid votes. And this polling station has got 298 voters. So Mr. Baryomunsi had 223 votes. Then Sam Kajojo had 10 votes. This is the polling station where Minister Chris Baryomunsi cast his vote today. For the other side, I don't know how many votes he got for where he also cast his vote, where Mr. Sam Kajojo cast his vote. For him, he says somewhere far away. This is very big, very big, very big. Has got more than actually, it has got 13 sub-counties
It has got 9 sub-counties and 4 town councils. It's a very big constituency, Chinchize, a very big one.
Thank you so much, Crispus. Thank you for the updates from that polling station, where, I mean, Chris Badomus is already having 223 votes for what was counted at the polling station, and his rival, Sam Kajojo, with about 10 votes. We will see what the EC updates us with tomorrow, since the National Tally Center will be open by 9 a.m. We will also move to Ivan Kawa, who is in Zimbabwe, for another update.
Thank you so much. My name is Ivan Kawa, and I'm reporting live from Zimbabwe district, where until up this time the declaration forms are being brought at the tally center. As of now, the room is all a little bit busy. DRO forms are coming in, they are scrutinizing them, and the returning officers yet to communicate what they have as of now. Now, the room has quite a number of people who are already in here, and some other candidates are also here to witness this exactly process, while some other candidates were earlier on here, but they had to leave, and the agents are here representing them. Well, when you look at just that table right up there, that's where the returning officers are, and they are trying to put to make some calculations therein to see that they give us the temporary results as of now that we are having. There is also a desk just right there on the right. You could see that gentleman in a blue suit also receiving some of the DR forms and scrutinizing them in that regard. Well, this other desk here, you can see that Nina Rose is in that black attire, and some of those are some of the people that are here. But in here we also have the observers who have been so essential to see what exactly is going on. But I am going to be speaking to some of the people here who are having some documents, and they do explain to us what exactly they are having. Mom, can we speak to you a little bit? We are live on UBC. We are seeing you here. What exactly have you come to do? Kindly, you can stand and we... It's okay. It's okay. It's fine. Okay. Don't worry. Yes. So we are here. What have you come to do here?
Okay. I am Natukunda Alice Mary from Zimbabwe district. We've come here for you to clarify tuze okulabanga tukakasa ebivudde mu kulonda mu district yaffe ya Zimbabwe. We have 5 constituencies, that is Mawogola South, Mawogola North, Mawogola West, eya Honorable Nifa Wanjirana Kaoya. We have Mawogola North, and we have Zimbabwe district, Akaba Woman MP, the whole. Katuze okulabanga tukakasa ebivudde eri byebiri eno ebiri mu byetubaze okuva eri ba agent eno. Yes, DR forms zaffe tuzirina tutambudde nazo. We have them here tuzirina.
Kati ku ground kibadde kitya? How has it been on?
Ku ground for sure okusinziira okwawukanako n'obululu bwonna obuwedde emyaka giri emabega kabadde fair, tewabadde buzibu bwonna. Nze gye nnondedde waffe Mawogola West tewabaddewo obuzibu bwonna. Katambudde bulungi. Of course mbeeramu obutonotono obusobola okuba, but we are secured. Tulina security ebadde ekikolako.
Thank you so much. Well, that's an update from someone who has been on ground, and it's already clear now that some of the members are here with a DR to scrutinize and compare notes and see that the results that have been brought here are apparently tallying with what the gentlemen up there are doing. Now, this is the brief update as of now. Even journalists are here, camped here, trying to compare some of the notes because they have also been essential in this specific operation right from the areas where they have been. You can see each and everyone here is very busy. Each and everyone is bringing up the list or the information they have, trying to compare notes to see that it synchronizes. As of now, here in Zimbabwe, they have not yet communicated any temporary results as of now. But once they do that, we shall still be giving you that update. Sharon, I hand back to you, and I will keep you posted regarding any development that comes up from Sembabule district.
Ivan Kahwa from Sembabule for the updates. Looks like a long night, but I hope you're covered and ready to weather through the situation until we have everything sorted and the results at the National Tally Center. We continue with our reporters from various places in Uganda, and we have Joseph Odama from Arua City. A very good evening, Joseph. I hope you're doing well. What does the situation look like for now, where you are?
Yes, good evening, Sharon. Thank you for having me on board. Right now, I'm in Arua district at the Tally Center. The Tally Center is at the headquarters for a town council. And if we can flash back in the morning up to 4 p.m., the voting process was very peaceful. But in Arua, we had an isolated case. After the balloting, there was a group of youth that came and they started attacking NRM chairperson of the district together with the NRM flag bearer for parliamentary race in Arua district. The NRM flag bearer
Odama, why was that a walk in the park for the ones that came to attack?
The youth were around because they were suspecting that the NRM flag bearer and also the NRM chairperson, they were jointly, allegedly, concocting the results ahead of the declaration at the Tally Center here. So we thank God that the police was able to swing into action and rescue the two people for safety. But consequently, they were dispersed using the tear gas. And right now at the Tally Center, we are peaceful, and the counting process is about to start.
As a journalist, were you able to witness anything like what these youths or the group of young Ugandans think they saw or thought or believed?
As far as the rowdy group is concerned, they believe that the NRM chairperson of our district, together with the flag bearer NRM for parliamentary race for Vura County, they were exchanging the results that they're expecting from the polling stations. And it made them to go to NRM office in a place called Odia, and they started threatening the NRM chairperson together with the parliamentary candidate who is on NRM ticket. And as I said, now immediately after getting the intelligence, the police was able to swing into action to go and rescue these people. They were driven to the police headquarters of Arua district, and that was when now the youth also followed the two people up to the CPS. And in response to that, the police was able to now use the tear gas to disperse them. But after that, we were able to come to the Tally Center and witness the arrival of the ballot boxes and so on. Right now, everything has been set. The Electoral Commission officials, together with the agents of the various candidates, are already in the house waiting to see how the tallying process is going to go through. Also, before I came to the Tally Center, I was able to move from one polling station to the other to understand how the counting at the polling station was happening, especially for the presidential and members of parliament. Indeed, Vura is described as the NRM stronghold in West Nile. And as I was hearing and also noting, the prospect was between the incumbent president of Uganda, that is Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, and Robert Kyagulanyi. But I can affirm that the number that the president was getting in Vura was absolutely overwhelming. So these are the things that we're getting here. But in terms of the parliamentary race here in Vura, as I was witnessing in some of these polling stations I visited, the contest is between the two people. That is the NRM flag bearer, who is none other than Lenya Charity, and the former member of parliament for Vura County, that is the Ajedra Gabriel Aridlu, who is also a former minister, state minister of finance and general duties, in charge of general duties in the 10th parliament of Uganda. So we are waiting now the official results from the electoral commission, after now tallying and confirming that yes, so and so is the one who has gone through, and the others are failing. Actually, we have 6 candidates for parliamentary position here in a Vura constituency. But also in Arua City, the voting process happened peacefully, and we have 6 candidates for Arua Central Division. And this is like also one of the hot spots in West Nile. Arua Central Division is the center for influence actually in West Nile. So people's eyes are towards this electoral area. And the core 3 people are the NRM flag bearer, who is also the incumbent member of parliament, that's Jackson Atima. Then we have FDC candidate, that's the Muzaidi Kemis, and we also have an independent candidate called Kepo Ronald. He participated in the NRM primaries, but he failed. So the contest in that area of Arua Central Division is basically between these 2 people. But also, as I was moving before in Arua City before coming to Arua District, presidential level, indeed, the incumbent president of Uganda, Yoweri Kaguta Museveni Tibuhaburwa, was also leading. But we cannot affirm to the public that that is the result which is going to come, unless the electoral commission is going to declare. But this is, as a journalist, what I witnessed on ground.
Thank you so much, Odama Joseph, reporting from Arua City for the wonderful update. Sounds like a very fruitful day, but with so much happening as well. I pray that you're safe and you're able to weather through as we continue to get results and reports from our reporters who are across the country. Thank you, Odama.
Thank you too.
Now, despite having issues like biometric issues with the machines, and also having Ibanda and Chibanda elections suspended because of what happened, which was a mismatch in the candidates' particulars, among so many other problems like low turn-ups that have been reported in some places, we managed to still get the first set of preliminary results from the chairperson EC, Justice Simon Byabakama. And of course, I would like to show you what he gave to us nationally, where President Yoweri Museveni, who is the NRM candidate, garnered 14,232 votes, making it a 61.75%. And Kyagulanyi Ssentamu from National Unity Platform with a 7,753, which is a 33.64%. And moving on to others, since we have 8 candidates standing for the position or vying for the position of president of Uganda. Nandala Mafabi from the FDC party got 560 votes, rounded off to 2.43%. Mujisha Muntu and the political party 164, 0.71%. And Mubarak Munyagwa from the CMP 145 votes, 0.63%. I always think about Munyagwa because of the Rusania. And moving on to some more candidates, 3 more, where Frank Bulira, RPP, got 84 votes, making it a 0.36%. And Robert Kasibante, NPP, with 66 votes, making it a 0.29%. And the last candidate, Joseph Mabirizi from the CP party with 45 votes, making it a 0.20%. Thank you so much for watching. We'll take a short commercial break and we'll be back. Welcome back from that short commercial break. We still continue with the updates. And this time around, we have our reporter, Alan Amanyara from Adjumani District with an update. A very good evening, Alan. Kindly let us know what's happening.
Yes, good evening, Sharon, and thank you, our viewers, for always loving UBC, because we are coming to you live from Adjumani right away. And right now, I am at the polling station here in Adjumani, but of course, we are still waiting, just like you're listening or viewing from the rest of the country. The polling station of Adjumani has not started receiving the ballots yet. Of course, the elections are still, of course, the elections move on well, but of course, Adjumani district has 11 sub-counties and it has 236 polling stations. So as for now,
we are still waiting for the results to come in. And of course, the returning officer, that is the Akao Eunice Christine, she's seated right in her position waiting for the results to come in. But right now, we are still waiting. So far, one sub-county has so far brought in a result. But also, from my movement around, I moved in a different sub-counties here in Jumani. And of course, in Jumani, we have Jumani has two constituencies, Jumani West constituency, and of course, who is led by General Moses Ali, who is an incumbent member of the constitution, and is also flag bearer for NRM, and of course is battling it together with this gentleman by the names of Tandro Pasi Patrick, who is carrying the flag of Forum for Democratic Change. But of course, from the results, from the time when we started counting the votes, there is a battle between General Moses Ali. It is not yet official from the EC, but of course this is what we had when I started moving around, of course, around the polling station. And
did
from the
General
other
Moses
side,
Ali participate in the voting?
sorry?
Did General Moses Ali participate in the voting process?
Yes, he did. Yes, he voted at around, of course, just like the rest of the country, Jumani also had issues with the voters verification machine, and of course it had delayed the election a little bit. And then General Moses Ali casted his vote around, that is 10:20. That is the time he casted his vote. But of course, apart from that, also in the West, in the East, we have Honorable Mama Weekly, who is incumbent, who is carrying independent, standing on the independent. Of course, after he lost NRM primary to Lumak Enjo, NRM flag bearer. But of course, from the preliminary reports that we got also from the police station and from college, there is a possibility they will feel that maybe Honorable Mamawi will still go through, but it's not yet official, and we are still waiting. And for the case of a woman member of parliament, we have Jessica Ababiku, who is carrying the flag of National Resistance Movement, and of course the race is also tight for her with Raleo Rose, who is independent. And of course we are still waiting here at the polling station. As I said, the polling station, we are all gathered here, media and all other security agencies, observers, but we're still waiting. It's only one sub-county that has so far brought in the result.
Wow, very interesting. Did you? I understand that biometrics machine has sort of been the issue with so many polling stations. Aside from that, was there anything else that stood out as an issue but was later nipped in the bud?
Not really. Jumani's election was generally peaceful. I did speak to the RDC, that is Mr. Tokoswai, and of course he confirmed to me that the voting went on successfully, and nothing much has happened more so concerning issues of security. And this has clearly indicated that people have actually listened into the messages that the security personnel are saying. And of course, also compared to the previous election, Juman voters number has risen. That is from the previous election, that is from 2000 election from 2000, that is 2021 to 2026, and this right now we have 98,542 voters who actually casted their votes today. But just like other places, I spoke to
Would you say that
some
was
of
an increase for the voter turnout?
Yeah, the voter turnout here in Jumani has
also slightly been low. And of course, when I spoke to the voters, they actually attributed it to the failure of the machine, because they said that a majority of the voters turned up in the morning, and of course they came with the hope of casting the vote. But unfortunately, when the machine failed, majority of them decided to walk away, and of course voting started a little bit late. That is around 10:30, 10:20 there, and that is the reason why they cited. But I don't know for the rest of the party, other country, the parts of the country, but here voting went up to around 5 p.m. I don't know the rest of the parts in the whole country.
Thank you so much, Alan Amanyara, at Jumani District. We appreciate your time and the updates that you've given to us. The EC National Tally Center will be open tomorrow by 9 a.m. and I believe we'll have more results coming in away from just the first preliminary results. Now, of course, a few highlights from what transpired today at around 10:45 p.m. We had the EC chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, update us on the first set of preliminary results where President Yoweri Museveni, the incumbent, garnered 14,232 votes, putting him at a 61.7%, followed by Mr. Kyagulanyi Ssentamu, aka Bobby Wine, from the National Unity Platform with 7,753 votes, putting him at 33.64%. We'll have more of that once the National Tally Center in Lubowa is open tomorrow by 9 a.m. But that doesn't mean that UBC is closing. No, it's not. We have a 24-hour broadcast where we'll keep you updated. We have a panel that will sit in and also help to analyze, because we want you to have verified, accurate information on what has transpired. A few issues that have sort of unsettled the voters today, like the biometric machines, which weren't working. Some places have had a very low turn-up for voters. And with the issue of biometrics machines, they had to use the National Voters Registrar or voter slips. And for those that had national IDs, they were also used to make sure that people still go ahead to cast their ballots. Areas like Ibanda and Chibanda had the elections suspended, according to the EC chairperson, Justice Simon Byabakama, due to a mismatch in the candidates' particulars. Now, we also had a few cases of violence in areas like Matuga, Katokenia, Nansana, Katwe, but security agencies were able to nip this in the bud and exactly at the right time. Again, the CDF warned that we should vote and go home, and people have actually adhered to that. We also had the observers who had a different report. We had one of the reporters at the National Tally Center, Jordan Lukomwa, interview one of them, and he appreciated the fact that Ugandans are able to go and have a free and fair election. Anything more than that on the laws and whether we practice that to the latter, we can discuss later, but for what he said, yes, he saw Ugandans turn up to vote. There's also been an arrest of over 400 Ugandans or citizens who are trying to cause commotion, and the security agencies said not today, and I guess those will be brought to book. Altogether, Ugandans have maintained peace and calm, and yet again civically participated in voting for their leaders. The National Tally Center in Lubowa has been closed, but tomorrow, 9 a.m., I beg your pardon, we'll be able to continue with results and get to have a look at who the President of Uganda is going to be. At the members of parliament from the different areas that people have cast their ballots, as well as members of parliament. From the team and I, have a lovely night. My name is Sharon Chomjisha. Thank you so much for being a part of this and for watching UBC TV. We inspire Uganda. We give you verified, accurate information. Keep posted because the broadcast still continues. It's a 24-hour clock. Bye-bye.
My name is Colonel Banison Desderius Mande. I'm the Director Research and Analysis, National Counterterrorism Center. As we go into this electoral season, we all need to work as whole government, whole society, for people to talk peace and maintain peace before, during, and after elections. Uganda is for all of us. We need it secure. We need these elections free of violence.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace. We are into the political season. The atmosphere is highly charged. There is a lot of excitement everywhere you look. But elections come and go. We all remain the same people staying in this one country. We must prioritize peace. We do not want to witness violence. No one should be throwing stones. No one should be using inciting language or abusing others. No one should use a stick against a fellow citizen. No one should use bullets or even tear gas against citizens. Instead, we should sit as brothers and sisters, as Ugandans, and discuss issues that may appear different, one camp from the other. I look forward to seeing an NRM supporter sitting with an NUP supporter and taking coffee. I want to see somebody from Arua sitting down for a cup of coffee with someone from Bugisu, from Chigezi, from Buganda. Let's learn to tolerate each other, even when we have differences between us, because that's how we are created. We are not the same. What we should appreciate is that we can all live together. Uganda is big enough for everyone. So we should respect one another. We should not incite violence. We should not in any way participate in anything that breaches the peace. That's my call to all Ugandans during this season.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace.
I'm Superintendent of Police, Bagan's Patience, the DPC Dokolo. We are in for the election period, and my role as police is to provide security. However, if we are to have a peaceful election, it is a two-way traffic. The Wananchi also have a role to play in this. The catchword in this is to have an election period where everyone is to participate freely without any fear. Our commitment as police, we are going to prepare and prepare and prepare. And then we shall give a leveled ground for all of you to participate in this election. We call upon all Ugandans to keep peace during this election period.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and partners, with support from the European Union. Tuongeye, let's talk peace.
Let's talk peace. Hi guys, we are going into the elections as a country. My job, your job is to pray that God himself will choose for us the best leaders, whether they are in this party or in this party. As long as it is God who has chosen them, then he will be with them. May God help us as we vote. Also, I encourage all my young people, make sure you stay alive to see your future. Be peaceful, don't fight. Someday I saw a guy getting a rock and telling a guy with a gun, Okorechi, Okorechi. I'm like, come on, you have a future to protect. Make sure you are peaceful. Even though your wife, your sister, your brother does not vote your side, make sure the future that you are believing for. Stay peaceful, stay calm, and pray.
This campaign is proudly organized by the Netherlands Institute for Multi-Party Democracy and